So Ojas, I met Chris at Wellness Land. I met both of you at Wellness Land.
Yeah.
Wow, Wellness
Hmm.
Land is like, interesting, interesting. So I met Chris at Wellness Land where he was doing a meditation course 2 years ago. Chris, was it 2 years ago? Something
I
like
think
that.
it's, yeah, about 2 years ago.
And then, actually, similar story. I invited Chris to the Gasho Center, and then we did a retreat, silent retreat together here in Cebu. And then Chris invited me to join him for a silent retreat in Thailand, in Chiang Rai last year. So I've been following, so we've worked together and I've been following Chris's daily meditation. He has a daily meditation on FBE Live at 1 p.m. your time, Ojas, every day. So I've been encouraging people to join that, and I haven't been able to because my internet is bad at that time, actually.
Mm.
And then, so Chris, I met Ojas, was it through Wellness Land? Well, through Lynn,
Yeah.
and Ojas has been staying at Wellness Land. He's close to Dr. Paredes as well, and
Mm.
so yeah, the same thing. Ojas came for he taught at Gasha Center, and then I went to his talks at Wellness Land, and then we had the festival together the last January, Be Good On
Mhm.
Fest. So it was nice to collaborate then. And so both of you are teachers that I respect and admire and learn from a lot. And I'm so happy to share your teachings with my community and whoever is willing to hear the teachings. And so just to say, why did I want to talk about desire? Because I feel like there's work that I do, which is mindfulness, meditation, being in the present moment. And then there's work that I also do, which is manifesting and, creating like a juicy life and excitement. And so I feel like there's kind of there needs to be a bridge, at least for the people in my community as well, because we do a lot of manifestation works. I do a lot of like goal setting with them in the sense like, what would make you feel good, and let's manifest this feeling of whatever it is, abundance or love or all these beautiful feelings, and connect to that vibration and then just go there, but at the same time being fully in the present moment, being aware of living in the now, being mindful of the steps that we take to get there. So I feel like there's this really interesting juicy space between point A and point B, and your teachings are in a sense similar, but I've had beginnings of discussions with both of you, and I feel like we never really went deep into that. And of course, you both know that I work with I've been exploring tantra, and so for me, tantra is a lot about, it's many things, but one of the things is transmuting that sexual energy, that creative energy, and I feel like desire is also coming from there, which is why I made a very cheeky post on Chris's video the other day, and I said, because he was doing a meditation on releasing desire, and then I was just like, desire fuels my practice, because I just felt like I like working with it, because I do microcosmic orbit, and then I use that sexual, creative, sacral energy, and it just like, I feel like it's very powerful, and I feel like it's something that we could use. So I wanted to have your thoughts on that. Yeah, in a discussion. So I did pretty much, that's it. Yeah. So Chris, maybe I'll just very informal.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I still don't have a gallery view, but when Ojas talks, it switches to him, and I no longer see
That's
Wendy.
fine, no?
So
Is it okay?
yeah, it's fine for now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's
Okay. So while Windy is sharing, you can see the Windy, Krish.
yes.
Yeah.
So it
Okay.
switches back and forth. The screen switches back and forth.
Okay. Okay.
Ojas, why don't
Yeah.
you go ahead?
Okay. Actually, as I noticed, the whole happenings as a humans, it's inside our unconscious. There is lots of huge desire.
There's a lot of what?
Huge desire.
Used?
Very huge.
Huge.
Yeah, huge.
Okay.
Very huge desire. But it has unconscious level, because we come through lots of animal lifetimes. When we are coming through lots of animal lifetimes, those all accumulating memories deep inside us in unconscious level. So there are some desires which come up. We need to be monitor this desire from which source. How can I put it in a right focus, in a right alignment?
So, okay.
I mean, having a desire, it can be comes from any unconscious source, because we come through lots of lifetimes. Then we have to monitor our desires without without suppressing them. Normally, some people, when they go through the religious practice, they often suppresses their desires. They don't want to see it, and they are very strong with their desires. That's where they are in the loop.
Yes, you get stuck.
We will get stuck. They don't want to see it, and they think they don't have anything, and after they suffer, because unconsciously they start judging others, those who is going with their own desires. So we should not suppress the desires. At the same time, we need to don't go with it unconsciously. So we need to monitor step by step, step by step. That is the reason in meditation, we always be objective with what we are, what rises inside us.
Yeah.
With this objectiveness, when we put our desire, alignment with the nature law, then step by step, this dense of desire will be reduced inside us. It's a natural happening.
How is it reduced?
Because we are putting into nature alignment, nature law of nature.
But so you're saying like we want to reduce it.
No, once our desire drive into the right direction, which is nature law of nature. While we are in our desire, if we can understand the nature law, how nature law is working inside us or around us, so the density of desire will automatically dissolve inside us.
By nature law, do you mean connecting to our own essence and to the flow?
For example, you like to eat ice cream. Okay. So eating ice cream is very desire for you. Then you are eating. Wow, it's so nice. Wow, it's so nice. I want more. I want more. The feeling is rising up like that. That's how desire goes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So here we have to be objective. While you are performing the desire,
yes,
you have to be a scientist. So you are eating ice cream. So when you are eating ice cream, you have to observe all your sensations, vibrations. So you don't need to stop doing your desire, but while you are doing your desire, always be objective and observe. Keep doing, objective, observe, and keep doing. Like that, this desire will be transcend. Something that it not pushes you. You're not controlled by your desire. Step by step, step by step, step by step. So we should not suppress it. At the same time, we should not go with it very unconsciously as a habit, as a pattern, but we have to monitor objectively while we performing our desire.
Thank you, Ojas. I think actually it's very close to Chris's teachings, which is about
very similar.
Allowing it to rise and then allowing it to just dissolve. Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Observing the arising of the desire, being in the present moment with that arisal, So the desire arises, we experience the sensations of the desire, the physical sensations, how that desire changes the body, the mind, and the heart as the desire arises, and being with that experience. And then once we practice that, we observe the desire as it arises before we fall into the reactive pattern to that desire. The reactive pattern is what brings us and other people to suffering. And so we can experience the desire rising, and then we respond to that desire responsibly rather than moving unconsciously reactive to the desire. And so then, yes, either we can then choose to either say, no, I don't want that ice cream because, I've already gained 20 pounds and I don't need to gain 5 more pounds. Or we can say, oh yeah, ice cream, it's a hot day. Ice cream might be nice. Maybe I'll just have 1 scoop of that coconut ice cream. And so then we responsibly fulfill that desire like that. And then in any case, the desire will eventually pass. And so being mindful the whole process, noticing the arising of the desire, being in the present moment without arising, not falling into reactivity, being in the present moment while we're either saying, no, I don't think that's good for me right now, or yes, I'll indulge that desire, that's fine. And knowing what that feels like, being very present in the sensations of the body, mind, and heart through that whole process. And then being with the process as I lost a headphone. Being with the process of the conclusion of the desire as well. So yeah, that's how I usually see it, as a kind of a 3-part arc like that.
I guess what brought me to talk about this is that I feel like we're focusing. I mean, you mentioned, Chris, that desire is like any other emotion. We want to be objective so we can observe. But I feel like we're kind of picking on desire as something not that we shouldn't, as opposed to other. We're placing a value judgment as opposed to other emotions.
I don't know. I mean, to me, desire is just like any other powerful emotion. It needs to be embraced with awareness. And I think the awareness is key, because desire does lead to a great amount of suffering in the world, but it is also the reason why we all exist. So it's very powerful, as you mentioned in the introduction. It's a very powerful emotion and needs to be handled, I think, with that kind of respect, to honor it with the power that it has. And so, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't say, I'm sorry if it was interpreted as that I was putting a value judgment, a negative value judgment on it. But I think it can be seen that way, just like anger. Some people can experience desire in a negative way, the way they might experience anger if they have. So that desire arises. Let's take the example of anger. Sometimes when anger arises, very often people fall into an unconscious reactive state to that experience of the sensation of anger arising in the body. So they go unconscious momentarily or even longer, and they fall into yelling, kicking, punching, screaming, shouting, causing suffering for themselves and others. And when they come out of that, they justify themselves. Oh, that's what anybody would have done. That guy made me so angry, I punched him in the jaw. Whatever it was however they reacted. Desire has that same power to it. Oftentimes when desire arises, it can send people into this unconscious reactive state. And so they're just, reaching for the ice cream without recognizing that they're grossly obese, or reaching for, calling, a prostitute when they're lonely on a business trip, or, whatever it is, whatever their reactive pattern is. And it'll be the same behavior that's arose time and time again whenever that desire arises in the body, generally people reach for the same 2 or 3 reactions. And so that's how we know it's a reactive pattern. It's a way of escaping the discomfort of the emotion that's arising in the body. Yeah. So desire, I think, does need to be handled very carefully. But I don't think it's a negative. I don't think any emotion is inherently negative. I don't really think anything is inherently negative or positive.
Yeah.
It's just what we do with it.
Yeah. So can I add something?
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Krish. It's so. This is what I have been realizing. So when we discussing about desire, if we go completely unconscious, we're not observing anything, we are not objective, so our body and mind constantly creates the memory, like Chris said, the reaction patterns. So these reaction patterns again influences, and again we fall into desire, again it influences, again we fall into desire, so it will become a mental prison. So we cannot see more beyond that, we only see this, and it's become so strong inside us, then it's like we are wasting our time in the temporary happenings. So the transformation all about going beyond the temporary happenings. I mean, when we go beyond the temporary happenings, then only we will transcend our consciousness. We will experience the expansion of consciousness. If all the time in the same desire, we repeat our being again and again, again and again, because we're not able to be objective, then it's waste of time. What we took a precious life, has a body, has a mind, has a conscious, this one is not getting integrated. That is the reason the awareness plays very key role, while not awareness.
What's not getting integrated, Ojas?
If we spend our time in the temporary happenings again and again, again and again, again and again, the precious body we took, mind and consciousness, we cannot transcend them.
Yeah.
To more profound reality, the states of pure consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Because we anchored with the temporary happenings, and we're not able to witness properly. So again and again, again and again, we are living in the same mode unconsciously. That's why it leads to the suffering. That's why it leads to the separation. And also some people, they fall into doing robbery, or doing some kind of very dark things. Desire is one of the main force for this all dark happenings in this world. If they don't have a desire, why they do that? So it should be monitored in the direction where it dissolves all the time. So desire coming, it's nature, it's there. But once it's coming, it came up, it rise up, and it should be dissolved. The density of desire should be less. But it happens
So
naturally.
we don't fall into crime and addiction.
Repeat patterns.
Repeat patterns.
Okay. Repeat pattern again on the temporary happening, again and again, again and again. Okay. In that area, we need to monitor. If you want to experience profound reality of life.
Chris, you wanted something? Sorry.
Well, I mean, just thank you. I mean, that's a very, a valid point. But I mean, why, you said desire. I mean, desire obviously does lead people to crime and drug addiction and sex addiction and gambling addictions and all of these dark habitual patterns. But also a desire gave birth to all of us. I mean, more or less, our parents must have desired each other on some level at some point for us to be here, and we're having this conversation out of desire. Wendy desired to bring us together And so you know, things small and large are born from some sense of desire somewhere along the way. Everything that's manifest is born out of some semblance of desire. So I think, and I think that's where we get into the positive and negative. We can't really say desire in its own accord is negative or positive, dark or light. It does, a desire is just what it is,
Mm-hmm.
a natural component of the human experience, but it's what we do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Ojas and I think we are in agreement, is that whenever desire arises, whether it's to bring teachers together or whether it's to, you know, take the next line of cocaine, whenever desire arises, whatever the desire is about, to be in the present moment experience with that, and not only the present moment experience with the sensation of desire, because that can be so overwhelming sometimes that we just go. We don't even know that we're in it until we've completed and satiated that desire sometimes. And so to be in the present moment, meaning not only feeling the experience of desire, but hearing the sound of the birds, hearing the traffic moving past, hearing the conversation nearby, feeling the clothing on the skin, feeling your body against the ground, feeling the present moment, experiencing the present moment, the openness and spaciousness of now, and noticing that desire arising in that spaciousness. That gives one an anchor, kind of a cushion, if you will, so that when that desire, that real powerful addictive desire arises, you say, okay, there's that desire again. I don't need to do that, you know, or I can do that. It's not, this desire isn't leading me to a negative. It is leading me to bringing teachers together to have an interesting conversation. That's not a negative, hopefully. So let's do this, and then we move forward to manifest from that desire. And so I think that's really important to recognize.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, for that, and Ojas as well. I feel like I need to give you guys a little bit of background, maybe why this is important to me, and then we can wrap it up so we can leave some stuff for the live with the other
I think
people.
we should just use this recording. This is good.
Yeah, well, you know, we can do both, but basically what's happened with me in the so I think both of you know that I grew up overseas in Europe and the US, and I grew up in France, where, let me tell you, desire is, they have a different interpretation of desire that they do in Asia. And I'm sure you guys can have some sort of idea. And here in the Philippines, you know, it's a very Catholic, conservative society, and a lot of the people I work with are young women who are struggling with anxiety because of family pressure. Okay, and so they're very, very disconnected with their own identity and even what they, I don't know if they've ever been in their body to feel what they truly want. Sorry, are you guys hearing me? My connection is it okay? Can you guys
Yeah,
hear
I
me?
hear you. Froze up a minute, but
Yeah.
but
So I was just saying that when I work with these women, and I feel that there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of suffering, actually, and I feel like it's caused because they are disconnected with who they are, their essence, and also their desire. I feel like that is kind of guiding. So that's why I just wanted to clarify and not demonize desire. Of course, we can fall into addiction, which is not what I'm suggesting. But there's a way to have a healthy relationship with our desire.